Previously on Manalytics.
Girls physically can compete with boys
Mm-hmm.
at a certain age. But there comes a time when that ain't the same no more. I know because I've always been like super physical. You know,
You used to
I
kick our ass. You used to
I used to
kick our
kick
ass.
I used to kick all y'all's ass.
I know. Yeah.
And then
Like,
and then
damn.
one right, I used to kick all y'all's ass. It was a sport. It was fun to me. I used to kick all y'all's
That's
ass.
sick. That's
And
sick.
then that's so sick, right? And then one day I was trying to beat up Tony.
Oh boy.
And that was the last time.
Manalytics as usual.
This is Manalytics as usual, and this is a special edition of Family Business series that I will do from time to time with my family members, and it's an honor to have such a treat. Such a treat. What's up, cuz?
What's up, babe? The OG.
Yes, you look younger than me though.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm gonna try to
Mhm.
not. I'm gonna try to not act like. I'm gonna try to like forget that the camera's here,
Yeah.
cause I could be a little camera shy. And
Mhm.
what's crazy is that one of the things that I thought that I wanted to do, when I went to school, was sports reporting. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to, like be on the field and doing a little sideline interviews and stuff. But I didn't really pursue it because I don't like the camera at
Yeah.
all. I hate it.
Huh.
So anyway, but it's us, so I'm sure
Mhm.
it'll be cool. But yeah,
Uh,
happy to be here, and we do this anyway, right? We back and forth,
Straight
uh,
up. Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So this is like, you know, I'm,
It's
I'm
just
still in,
pub.
I'm still in my element.
It's just public. You know what I'm saying? We always do this. We've always been like this as kids, but
Hmm.
outside world will see like, damn, oh, that's how they get down. Okay. All right.
Right.
And you know your shit. I know my shit. And, the rest is self-explanatory, but it's definitely good to have you on. And recently, Serena Williams, she's been making headlines because she just participated in the U.S. Open. Albeit she came up a little short, it was still historic. And I
Hmm.
remember you was telling me like, you was really, really passionate about it. And
Through text.
yeah, yeah. But you could tell I could read your emotion.
Right.
So how do
Right.
you so I was just curious, like, how do you feel about her just in general and what she's done for tennis? Just the landscape of tennis.
I mean, I think that what's crazy is like I've always kind of followed Serena, but I've never
Mhm.
been like a huge tennis fan, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
I like football, I watch some basketball, but I've never been a huge tennis fan. And so not until Venus and Serena did I even, think about watching tennis. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, just to start there, like, I'm sure that I'm not the only person that started watching tennis because of Serena, you know what I mean? And so,
Mhm.
really, they opened up tennis to like a large group of people. And I think that one of the coolest things, I mean, outside of the fact that like their background, like that they came from Compton, right? Like they came from
Mhm.
Compton, and that their dad was who he was and how he impacted them and his, style of parenting and developing and what that created with the sisters, that whole story. But then in addition to that, the fact that like they caused such a stir when they hit the tennis courts because they were so different looking. I mean, not only were
Mhm.
they black, but they had braids, and they were black, like not light skin black, not
Right.
like you could tell they came from Compton, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it was just like, it's always good to see people, in an element that, it's like a little, and they were young, right? It's like it's like an
Mhm.
intimidating kind of space to be in. And I feel like they always were like so graceful, you know.
They
And
made it
so,
cool. They made it cool.
yeah, I mean, and they made it, um like they were unapologetically who they were. Like they never, put on anything. They were always little girls from Compton, and but they were
Better.
so like well groomed that you couldn't
Mhm.
take nothing from them. And so it was the pride, it was the talent, it was the competitive nature they had, all of that. So anyway,
It was a saying that floated around, which I think this is the definition of them, which is athletically arrogant. And what
yeah,
that means is you're so good and you are so dominant that your play makes it seem as if you just are so I'm so better than everyone. When
mm,
that sometimes, that could be misleading, but athletically arrogant, I think that is perfect for them because they intimidated everyone.
mm,
And the tennis world let's call it for what it was. It was predominantly white. All
mm,
right.
mhm,
And this is a true story. I remember as a kid, only reason I watched tennis is because when Grandma Evan was living, right?
mhm,
And they used to have on John McEnroe and Steffi Graf. You know what I mean? She was like the lady version of what Serena is now, but Serena way better.
mm.
But like Billie Jean King and all them. I
Billie
got
Jean
hip to
King.
tennis
Mhm.
from Grandma Evelyn because she used to be into
Really?
that. Yeah, but although she didn't get a chance to see them play, I
Mhm,
know she would have loved it. You know what I mean? But
mhm.
they made it cool to watch the game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that because I know when I started following them, Venus at one point she was the good Williams sister,
Right.
right?
Mhm,
Did you
mhm.
used to follow her too?
Yeah, I mean, Venus
Okay.
was really the star, right?
Hmm.
Initially. And what's crazy is I've actually thought about that. I actually thought about that when, just the other day when Venus and Serena played doubles, and like how you could kind of tell that, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe the thing with Serena was that she was always kind of like chasing it, Venus being older, right? Like she was
Hmm.
right because Venus is older, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so she was. I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera, but she was always like, chasing Venus competitively, like, so I think that it made Serena like laser focused on getting
Hmm.
better because she was in her sister's shadow for some time. And
Hmm.
so I think it made her, work harder. And the thing is, like, I know you probably heard this saying, let me think of how it goes, but it's like what is it? Hard work beats talent. If
Right.
talent don't work hard, and I'm not saying Venus didn't, I'm just saying she set the bar high for Serena, and so Serena was always kind of like going to get it, you know.
Hmm.
And
She was
so yeah,
hungry.
she was hungry, and it's a sister thing, me and my sister. It's like you brothers, like you keep each other, you know,
Keep them
if you're,
honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Straight
So
up.
I think
Yeah.
it was that for her, you know.
Hmm. And then I noticed that it was a time like Venus. Again, she was quote unquote the best of the two at the time, And I know some head to heads, Venus will win those. But like you said, Serena had this. It was like I'm going to beat her one day, and when I
Mhm.
beat her, I'm going to beat her every single time I play her, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
it was like a shift in the dynamic because I believe Venus had an injury, like
Mhm.
toward like an ACL or something, I believe.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on it, but after that injury, she never was the same. But
Yeah,
during that
I
time, that's when
forgot about
Serena
that.
started getting good. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Hmm.
I remember now that you saying that. Yeah. That's true. And
Hmm.
that's kind of how that's kind of when Serena started to, kind of
Take
see
that
her
spot.
look. Yeah, yeah. It was good for the taking. That's true. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, also, it's always been all like off the field problems that will follow them just because, again, they're great urban area, but racism was extremely glaring, especially when their father would come to their games, and then the chants that the fans like it's just horrific. Like, damn, this like is this 1925 or is this going on now? And it's like it's going on now, and it's just crazy, man. And despite that, they still was able to keep their antennas up and stay focused on the goal, and that's amazing, man.
Yeah, especially considering how young they were. Did you hear recently? I was watching something, I can't remember what it was. But it had to be some sports channel. But the college volleyball player that was heckled, like the black girl, and she was like they were calling her the N word, you know what I mean, and all the at a game. And like
Yeah,
nobody did anything about it. None of the none of the other parents that were there, like nobody stood up for her.
that's ridiculous.
And that was just recently. So, and that's in volleyball, right?
That's
So I mean, just
ridiculous.
imagine how tough that was for them. Um,
Yeah,
you know.
the World Cup is coming up, and this happened like the last World Cup. Um, a lot of fans was throwing bananas onto the
Mm,
field, right? And it's like, damn, like what like what's really going on? You know, some people say
crazy.
it's the Trump effect, but this
Mm,
been going on way longer than that.
yeah, nah. People crazy. But that's a whole nother story. Um,
Hmm.
I think that you know, that's huge though in regards to, what Serena had to kind of, because the thing about sports, right?
Hmm.
The physicality of it is one thing, right? But really what it's about is your mental tough,
Hmm.
right? It's like it's the ability to, when you lose, and when you get down and when you lose, to not let that define you, right? And
Hmm.
when you get up and you winning, not to let that define you. Like, you always got to get out there, you got to work hard, you got to believe in yourself when don't nobody else believe in you. You got to pull it from somewhere. And that's one of the
Hmm.
reasons, like, why this whole GOAT conversation, like with Serena, to me,
Hmm.
is it kind of speaks to that, right? Because if you play on a team, then you got your team to pull you up. You know what I mean? Like, you got the timeouts, where you got your team to pull you up. Or if somebody down, then you can depend on your teammate, right?
Sure.
But she don't. But tennis players don't have that. Golf players don't have that. Like, those solo boxers don't have that. I mean, you go in your corner, whatever, but ain't nobody coming out there with you. Like, it's between
Hmm.
you and your opponent. And so
Hmm.
it's like you got to dig from somewhere. And
Hmm.
just her ability all these years to dig the way she has. I mean, I just don't see it. Like, I haven't seen it in any other sports player. I just haven't
Hmm.
seen it.
It's
Um,
fascinating.
yeah, it's super. I mean, just think like, um, I mean, it's just it's crazy. I mean, even with like you know, the gymnast and like the shit that they go through and how stressful that is, how
Mm,
stressful it is on your body, how you know when they go to the Olympics, whatever, how stressful it is. But I don't know, it's just like somehow I feel like Serena, in spite of it all, like she don't let you see her break, you know, she don't let you see her fold. And
mm.
like, I don't know, maybe she has, but I've never seen it. Like I saw that time when she flipped out on the
Yeah, she be tripping. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
It's like it was
but
not out. It's
right,
like, damn, why you
right,
belittling or berating the
right,
judge?
right.
Yeah, that's
She do that.
wild.
She do that. But you know, yeah, so she just, I don't know, she just been so graceful through it all.
Mm,
I don't know, she got like this, she has this beautiful balance of like femininity and like
mm,
beast.
mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like she's so strong and
She could
she's
turn you off.
so competitive and she's so, you know, all of these traits that you kind of like usually attribute to masculinity. But
Hmm.
then like then you see her interviews and you see this femininity in her
Yeah,
that is really like outside of sports even that balance is difficult to like you don't see that like she's
yeah,
a beast,
yeah.
okay.
But you would say you can't tell that she's from Compton when she has an interview. She's able to like dial it in. She went Compton on that judge when, when it was like when he was
She
wrong
always
about
Compton. She always Compton.
it.
That's the thing. Like she always Compton. She
Hmm.
just and that's the thing about Serena. Like she don't she's always Compton. She's
Hmm.
just also a worldly woman. Like she's been everywhere. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so, but that Compton, is the hunger. That Compton is the fight. That
Hmm.
Compton is who she is at the core of her. You
That's
know,
real. That's real.
um, she's just poised and she's mature and she's a queen. Like when I saw your title for this, or you know, when you sent me the notes or whatever,
Hmm.
um, the Queen of Kings, and I feel like that's really what it is.
Hmm.
Um, when she was, I'm sorry, I feel like
It's all good.
I'm rambling,
It's all
but
good.
when we were watching, when I was watching uh the match when they were like something happened and she was like the crowd started booing. Did you see that?
I
And then
believe, yeah, and I think that was against that. What's her name? Yusaki. She was like the new rising star of
was that the
tennis.
number two? She was number two
Yes,
ranked
yeah.
where they were booing because the call, like it was a bad call or whatever, and
Mm.
Serena said something, you know, to the what do they call those people? The refs, the line judge? I think they
Line judge, yeah,
line
judge.
judge. So she said something to him, right? And so then the people, like when they played it back, the audience was like, "Boo!" Because it, you know, it was a bad call,
Okay.
right? And so Serena, when they did that, she put her hand up like, we're not gonna do that." And they got quiet. I mean, this is
It's
you
power.
know, man, and she didn't say nothing. She just shook
Mm.
her head and was like, mm-mm, you know, and
She got that
silence
effect.
came over this place.
That's-
So I
She
don't
got that
know.
type of grace. She got the type of power that when Michael Jackson would come on the stage and he'd just be quiet as shit, and the fans going nuts, and he'd turn, and it's stage presence, but it's on a higher scale, and
Yeah,
that's probably what you alluding to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She just, you know, whatever it is outside of her, you know, her sports ability, her athletic ability, there's something else there that is I don't know. That's just it's hard to put anybody else in that category in that way because she just handles herself in a way that is so graceful, that, like, I don't know, it's difficult to even put somebody else in that category. Like we talked about Tiger.
Tuning in is now where you feel that not only is she the best in tennis, but she's the best athlete ever. And this is not excluding men. This is everybody on the same scale. She's the best athlete, right?
I here's here Yes,
Okay.
but I want to be careful, right? Because I don't know, like I'm not like a sports historian, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? But what I'm thinking about is, like, when I think about LeBron, who I love, okay?
Hmm.
Who I feel like is not just one of the best uh basketball players to ever play the sport, but also just one of the overall most influential and positive, and you know what I'm saying, for the culture. Like,
Hmm.
so, not taking nothing from him. But I'm thinking about people like that. I'm thinking about LeBron. I'm thinking about Jordan. I'm thinking about Tiger. I'm thinking about
Steph
um,
Curry. You
Steph
wouldn't
Curry.
consider him? Okay.
Steph Curry is a bot. Um, Steph Curry ain't human. But yeah, with Steph Curry, but like I'm thinking that, right? I'm not even
Hmm.
thinking, because I'm not a historian, but like this whole GOAT word, I
Hmm.
think gets thrown around a whole lot. And it's like,
Okay.
greatest of all time. I mean, I'm gonna have to give that to somebody who has done what other people what they couldn't do. There was a Vogue interview done
Hmm.
on Serena. It was basically, I think they're saying like Serena her own words kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna quote from here real quick. Hopefully it's not. It's pretty short. Okay, so this is Serena. Like, this is her talking. All right, so she says, this morning, my daughter Olympia, who turns 5 this month, and I are on our way to get her a passport before a trip to Europe. We're in my car, and she's holding my phone, using an interactive educational app she likes. This robot voice asks her a question. What do you want to be when you grow up? She doesn't know I'm listening, but I can hear the answer. She whispers into the phone. She says, I want to be a big sister.
Hmm.
Olympia says this a lot, even when she knows I'm listening. Sometimes before bed, she prays to Jehovah to bring her a baby sister. She doesn't want anything to do with the boy. I'm the youngest of 5 sisters myself, and my sisters are my heroes. So this felt like a moment I need to listen to very carefully. A moment I need to listen very carefully to. Um, couple more lines.
Okay.
Believe me, I never wanted to have to choose between tennis and family. I don't think it's fair. If I were a guy, I wouldn't be writing this because I'd be out there playing and winning while my wife was doing the physical labor of expanding our family. Maybe I'd be more of a Tom Brady if I had that opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I love being a woman, and I loved every second of being pregnant with Olympia. I was one of those annoying women who adored being pregnant and was working until the day I had to report to the hospital, although things got super complicated, blah, 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 blah. But I guess the whole point is, oh, look, then she says, and I almost did do the impossible. A lot of people don't realize that I was 2 months pregnant when I won the Australian Open in 2017, but I'm turning 41 this month and something's got to give. So I think, as a woman who has had children and who has had to make hard decisions and who has had to, and we're different, right? She has a husband,
Hmm.
she has all the money in the world, right? So she has access to things that obviously I didn't have. But she also works to a standard which I had never have either, right? She
Hmm.
worked to a level which I never have either. But this whole idea of, like, this woman was not only who she was to our sport, to the sport of tennis, who she was to women, who she was to Black girls, who she was to Black people, but she's somebody's mother.
Yeah, yeah, that's big, and I understand to a degree as far as that's a whole, like, that's a work that me, when I say we talk about men, will never know how it feels because we can't birth anybody. And albeit, because I want to choose my words carefully,
Please do.
uh,
That would
because
that would be
yeah,
smart.
this is absolutely, it's like the pressure's on me. She So she handled it with grace. I think my question would be, since we all know that only women can birth, and we all know eventually if they want to have a child, they're going to have to set a time aside. Uh, if let's say she did this when she was earlier, like her younger days, right? I don't think that probably would have been a big debate. Given that she had her children when she was later on in the life, if that makes sense.
So you mean like she had already accomplished so much before she actually started a family?
We get well the fact that we use her starting a family as a extra attribute
Mm-hmm.
when everybody in the sport of tennis that's females probably had the same type of questions or the same choices they got to make.
Mm-hmm.
Women in WNBA, we could go on, but
Mm-hmm.
all women have that decision eventually when they're going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
If God blesses them with children,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like that was she wanted to start a family. I don't know if we would consider that an attribute
Hell yeah, it
to
is.
like
Because
push her over the top of all the other.
well,
No,
no, I don't think that that's a reason to push her over the top. But I think
okay,
that if we look at her farewell, uh, you know, what would you call it?
farewell tour.
Her farewell tour, right? If we look at her farewell tour after she done already had a baby, okay, and then we look at and I'm going to tread lightly with this one. We look at the great Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant. God bless, God bless the dead. God
Hmm.
bless his family,
Hmm.
um, and his baby, and so I want to be super careful about that.
Hmm.
But I mean, Kobe's farewell tour didn't look quite like Serena's.
Absolutely not. And just to
With
add
all
to
due
that,
respect, it
yeah,
did.
no, you're right. You're right.
You
Kobe
know.
had some off the court issues, specifically in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna go into detail, but it was allegations made, and he a lot of people held that against him for his entire career, and
Mm-hmm.
also Kobe wasn't always a team guy.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
it was a lot of times where he said, you know what, I don't care about
Because he
getting
felt like did
other.
nobody work as hard as him. So
Yeah, yeah, he wanted to get maxed out and play with Smush Parker, and it was a lot of losing with the Lakers because of that. But Kobe was about Kobe, and then he eventually changed,
mm-hmm.
which is good
Mm-hmm.
because that shows growth and that shows maturity, and you can't always be the same. But Kobe, he had his off the field issue, well, off the
Mm-hmm.
court issues, and I think that stain is some of the reason why his farewell tour might not have been
Yeah,
like how Serena's was.
yeah. I mean, true. Maybe,
Not,
maybe, and
di-
maybe
mhm,
Kobe was just maybe he wasn't in it emotionally anymore, you know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what it was. But nevertheless, I mean, if we talking about the GOAT, right? Like I
mhm,
said, we're not just talking about the physical, the athletic ability. We also talking about the mental
mhm,
aptitude, the ability to hold it together, because that is the number one thing. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And so we talking about that, right? Then we talk about Kobe. We could talk about Jordan, who is
Yeah, we
argued
have to.
we have to, right? Who is, you know, I don't think anybody. I think it would be hard for anybody to take the GOAT status from Jordan because of who he was. But let's talk about what happened when Jordan retired.
Yeah,
Now we
yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen going forward with Serena, what she gonna decide to do, right? But
Mhm.
we know what he did.
And you know what? And
He played himself.
although it's
He
not
played his
fair,
legacy.
but
He should have
it's
did
not
what you did.
fair. It's not fair because we want to judge. And I know it's being naive of me to think this way, but I like to judge all the athletes for what they did in their body of work on the court. But they take hits,
Listen,
legacy
you got
hits.
to
Yeah.
know when it's time, and this is the difference, I think, between this whole man and woman thing.
Hmm.
You got to know when it's time to go. You don't want to
Yeah,
be
man.
the
Yeah,
last
man.
one at the bar.
You right, man.
You know what I'm saying? You got to
Hell yeah.
know when it's
Till the
time to
lights
go.
come on. Don't leave when the
Right.
lights come on, Chief.
Exactly. Right. You know, that Tom Brady. And
Mhm.
you can't listen, this man,
He pushing it too, by the way. Like he's
but he's
hey, 15
still
minutes left. 15 minutes before we close.
yeah,
Like, yo, that type of shit right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something to be said for the way that Serena did what she did. You know,
Mhm.
she did it gracefully, and she did it in a way that was like she left us in awe of her
Now, what
instead
we
of
say, sorry to interrupt you, but because you said something I want to cover, which was leave on top, right? Now, it's fair to say that she kind of dipped the last couple of years. And I believe now she went from being ranked number one like over a decade ago to like 608th
well, she
now.
didn't play that. She wasn't playing. They said
Oh
she played
yeah,
six. They said she played six tournaments this year.
yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying in general, if she's ranked now, she's 608. So it's kind of like the Jordan analogy when he went to the Wizards and like what you doing, Mike? It seemed
But
like
that's not what happened with Serena.
she lost though.
She lost. But what you talking about? This lady, this 40 plus lady,
Oh
with
yeah, it
all
was amazing.
that ass and all them titties, Lord forgive me, but I mean, all that,
Hmm.
all that body
Hmm.
was playing against little girls,
Straight up.
little girls that was in
Yeah.
their 20s. And everybody was looking at this like, yo,
Yeah, it was amazing. It was star studded.
this lady is different.
Oh
She
yeah.
she cut way different, right? Like you saw it. It's like it to me it was beautiful because of her what's happened in the last couple years as far as her, you know, not being at the top of her, of her game, right?
Hmm.
But for her to come and when she knows that this is it, and for her to lay it all out there and put it all out there instead of just going through the motions like some
Yeah.
folks have done, like, all right, I'm saying bye, so I'm gonna go to the game and y'all gonna pass me the ball every time and I'm gonna shoot it and I'm gonna
Yeah,
shoot
that's
it
what
and I'm
Kobe
gonna shoot
did.
it and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a billion
Yeah.
points.
Hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? We all know that it all wasn't laid out. You know what I'm saying? He ain't,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
I
She
follow
left it
you.
out there. She left it all
Yeah.
out there. She left it to question where people were sitting like, yo, like she might actually
It felt
pull
like
it.
she was gonna win. No, it
Yeah.
felt like it. Yeah, I watched it and I watched it. I'm like, damn, that's too long because I had to work. Man, I sat down in a parking lot. And which is crazy because I don't know the rules with tennis, and that's a whole different discussion. Because she never got a chance to serve back, and I'm like, damn, when's she gonna serve? But it was like 35 minutes, and
Go,
it was going back and forth, and
go,
I thought Serena was gonna win it.
go. And that's the and so, yeah. It's like I don't wanna be naive. I don't wanna be, I don't wanna like overdo my Serena,
Hmm.
crush, whatever. I don't wanna overdo it.
Hmm.
But I haven't seen much of anything like it, right? Like I just
Hmm.
haven't. And you know, we'll see. Like we'll
Hmm.
see what happens with LeBron. I
Hmm.
think everybody has their own goals, right? Seem like LeBron, he want to play with his son. You know what I'm saying? And so for him, that is leaving at the top, no matter what's going on as far as whether he's winning or not. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's a goal of his, and so that's much, a lot of respect for that.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think, Serena, I feel like showed them how to do it.
I would tell you this. I would say this. I think, and this is my personal opinion. For one, I know iconically, Serena is she's the greatest tennis player to ever pick up a racket, and I'm all with that. Now, when we talk about from a national stage of the GOAT in each respective sports, right? I honestly think that Muhammad Ali probably, and I watched some of his fights because at first I didn't understand why they would say Muhammad Ali, but I see it. And we talk about out the side of the ring, he
Yeah,
was just
yeah. Now
iconic.
that, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that because now
Mm-hmm.
we talking about, we still, even though it's not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still getting closer to, this idea of you get in the ring and it's you and your opponent.
Yeah,
You don't have a
yeah.
team, and so that's closer to me.
Now
That makes
but
sense to me.
earlier you mentioned golf. So I honestly think that Tiger Woods is on a higher GOAT list than Serena because of like 101, but he dominated the sport longer, like in a longer period of time than Serena did.
Yeah, agreed.
And man, until those scandals,
Agreed.
he
Agreed. Agreed.
but yeah,
But he also, I'm not a probably a good person to give an opinion on golf. I think
Uncle Ray,
golf,
that's
you know what I'm
Sabina right
saying?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of finesse, and you know what I mean? I know that I feel like golf is maybe like, as far as like skill level,
It's technique. Yeah, technique.
technique is similar
Yeah,
to like baseball without the running.
fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this repetitive, like, what I'm saying, time. But and I mean, it might be, maybe a little bit about power, but the athleticism of the thing,
Hmm.
I feel like it's difficult to put that up against tennis.
I could appreciate that one. How about okay? And again, I'm not a real big fan of his, but
Hmm.
what's real is real, and I observe it, and I have to call it. But I think because I just named two people who I think is ahead at work. So we got Tiger, I got Muhammad Ali. That's two. Um, LeBron, and I again, I I haven't always been a big fan of his, but I
You ain't
respect his
never
greatness.
been a fan of LeBron?
I'm not a big fan,
What?
because it's a lot of deficiencies I've seen that I didn't like personally, which was the way he handled the first leave. I didn't like that. I didn't like
You still
the
pissed, boy. You Cleveland to the heart, man.
no, I'm not pissed. It's just I didn't like the way I didn't think you have to quit to have an exit. I think you could have played the way you wanted to and still left. But when you quit it in Boston game, he quit on that game, and I did. I all that stained his legacy with me.
Mm.
When we was in the finals recently, and when J.R. Smith made that blunder, I felt that a true
Leader.
leader would have
Mm-hmm.
went there, consoled him, and
Mm-hmm.
still said, "You know what? We got a whole nother quarter left." But I
Mm-hmm.
felt like he turned his back on him, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
when leadership is needed. And it's been
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time, like I said, through his career that I've noticed leadership quality wasn't always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. You also
Hmm.
don't, I mean, we also don't know. We also don't know. We JR,
I mean, he was a bonehead. He probably was high.
JR.
He probably was high.
He,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel you, but
But he felt low though. Like you could see it. His body language. He was down because he fucked up. You know what I mean? Like he fucked up. But he felt like it's his. You see his soul leave his body. And a true leader is going to man, forget that play, man. We're gonna get him on the next one. But LeBron was doing all the antics, and I did not like that at
Yeah,
all.
I feel you.
Man,
I feel
yeah.
you. I understand where you're coming from with that. I think that that's yeah. Okay.
hmm Now, as far as skill, which that's the conversation. Oh, it's not the skill set that he has had. No other basketball player in the game has ever had the unique ability to pass, to rebound, to score.
Mhm.
And although his points per game wasn't as high as Jordan's, best believe if he really wanted to, if he really was committed to just backing niggas down and scoring, he would easily average 40 points, like
Mhm.
easily. And that's
Yeah.
just on a historic thing. But so
Yeah.
skill wise, of course, LeBron is a different dude. He was built different. Like we were saying with the body of Serena, he's cut different.
Yeah.
Um, Off the court, though,
Yeah.
ambassador,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
always been, yeah. So
Yeah. His legacy is, I mean, is his legacy is admirable. Is admirable because you know he just been. I mean, everything. I mean, you look at his the fact that he's still with his high school sweetheart, and how
and they're black, and they're black,
and they're black, right?
right?
and
Yeah,
and
man.
and how and the love that he has for his community where he came from, and
Yeah.
the school, and the real passion in that, like, not just, it don't seem like it's just for the
He,
cameras, right?
he genuinely
um
care, yeah. Like if
he
he fuck with
genuinely
you, he
cares.
fucks with you,
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, not taking you can't take nothing away from that man.
yeah. No, you
Um,
can't.
but I still feel like Serena. I still
I
feel
don't know
like,
about that.
when you talk about somebody that can just like hold it all the way down,
Mm.
I
Now,
just feel like
now,
she's done that in a way that nobody else has.
one thing that I want you, and I just want to, I'm gonna come from a different angle on this one. Uh, in sports, you can only play whoever your opposite opposing team is or a player. You can't choose your schedule. You play who was in front of you. So, is it fair to say that the competition level that Serena went through with women tennis is that on the same? Like, are we saying that her level of competition was more difficult as well?
I mean, it's all relative, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I can't really, like I said, I can't really like speak to that because I'm
Hmm.
not, I gotta be like, I'm not a tennis fan necessarily, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
when I watch tennis, it's usually because I'm watching Serena, or I'm watching Coco, or I'm watching, what's the other girl name? Uh,
I don't know. I really don't watch tennis.
uh, the girl name, thanks,
The new chick.
Osaki. I'm saying her name wrong.
That's. But I know you're talking about
So I watch
the
them,
mental
right?
health. I call her a mental health player because said she don't want to talk to a
Yeah,
reporter. Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. So,
It
so
was though.
I watched them, right? But like overall, like, I don't know. But but the thing is, I don't know. Like, who when you say like like her whoever's in front of her, like her competitors, like
Her competition wasn't
she's
as
playing the
strong.
best. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she's playing the best, right? Like, that's what you do when you get to a certain level. Like,
That's true.
you play the best, right? So
That's
she's
true.
playing the best in her sport. So it's like, you
There was
mean
one time.
she not playing men?
Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because there was okay in tennis. They've done this a few times. They call it the battle of
The battle
sexes.
of the sexes. It was first, I think, Billie Jean King.
Yep. Hmm.
Mhm.
And then um Graf, I believe, somebody
Mhm.
like in the 80s. But then there was a battle of the sexes with both of the Williams sisters.
Mhm.
And they basically were on record as saying that, they could be the men, like it doesn't matter who you are, they'll beat you. And they only wanted to play the top 200. Like you had to be ranked in the top
Mhm,
200 for them to even consider you to play them, right?
mhm.
And this guy, he was actually ranked 203rd, right? He swept them,
Mm.
and
He
albeit I don't think,
swept them, so he bought
yeah,
he
he beat
he
V-
he
he
played
beat
both of them, or
he
he
played
did like
Serena first.
seconds.
He beat
Okay.
Serena, and then he played Venus right after her.
Mm.
Yeah, and he won. And that started off the debate again because again he's ranked 203rd in men. He
Mhm.
comes in sweep at that time, ranked number one, and I believe Venus was at least in the top 20. I want to
Mhm.
say
Mhm.
I swept him, and oh, we got to, she never played against men, but when she finally did, she lost. Right, so the goat got to win those, right? Just a question. Like it's okay for Venus to lose. She got to win that, right? And that's my question to you.
I mean, and I think that's fair. I mean, I hate to say that that's fair because it's really not fair, because it's really not fair. But
Mm,
if I'm gonna throw in there the whole women can have babies and get back to it and all of
yeah.
that, then it's fair to throw that conversation to throw that in there too.
Mhm.
Um, I know that I can recall Billie Jean King. I think I was watching an interview of hers because she won hers. She
Yeah, I think
won
she was
her
the only
battle.
one that she the only one that did
Yeah.
too.
But she said years later, right? Decades later, okay? This woman
Mm,
says that she still has dreams that she lost, okay?
damn.
So that's deep.
That's real deep.
That's deep, right? That's how much it meant to her. That's how much she worked towards it. That's how passionate she was. That's how competitive she was. Still is, obviously, because she's still thinking about it in her
Mm.
subconscious. So she
She
did
need to
it,
let it go. She need to let it go. You
but
already
she
won.
did it. She
Yeah.
did it. But that lets you know, like, the anxiety that was involved in
Mm.
that, because obviously, like, women in sports, that is always the argument, right? Like,
Always. Mm.
that's always the argument. That's why you have a WNBA. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be ridiculous to think, in my opinion, I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but it seems ridiculous to think that any woman on the face of the earth could play with LeBron James and have a chance in hell.
Mm. We're gonna
Here's
tread
what I know.
thread lightly.
Yeah, yeah. Here's what I know. At a certain age, girls physically can compete with boys
Mhm.
at a certain age. But there comes a time when that ain't the same no more. I
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
because I've always been like super physical. You know what
You
I'm
used to
saying?
kick our ass. You used to kick our ass.
I used to kick all y'all's ass.
I know. Yeah.
And
Like,
then
damn.
one day, right, I used to kick all y'all's ass. It was a sport. It was fun to me. I used to kick all y'all's
That's
ass.
sick. That's
And
sick.
then that's so sick, right? And then one day, I can remember the day. I was I was trying to beat up Tony.
Oh boy.
And that was the last time. Okay. It was, I don't remember how old we were, but I knew that something
Mhm.
had changed drastically, right? So I think at a certain age, it's fine for girls to play against boys. That's like Jeff
Mhm.
daughter.
Hey,
Um,
he's a beast too.
yeah, like
Whew.
at a certain age, she got more heart than any of them boys,
Yeah, and she's good. She's
right?
actually
She's
yummy. That's
beast.
yeah,
Yummy.
she's
Yeah.
good, man. Like
Yeah.
I seen her tag some dudes. I seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. At a certain age, yes. But there comes a time when that's not. And that's why you don't see trans men trying
Mm.
to play with
Mm.
the men.
Man, hey man.
I've never heard it. If that exists,
Never.
please bring it to the table. But trans
Never.
women want to play with the women. And to me,
I feel you that.
you
That's a
let me just
different angle I've never heard before. That's fascinating.
yeah. Let me just
Yeah.
say from a woman standpoint, I feel like trans women who live in their life as, you know what I'm saying, I'll respect it. I don't have a problem with it at all. The only problem I have is this whole idea of, it's like, if it's gonna be cis, then I need you to respect. I need you to understand what it is, what femininity is, what it is, right? Because it ain't just dressing up. It's not just a feeling. You know what I'm saying? It is a walk of life. It is a thing. It ain't like, it's not simple. It's not the kind of thing you can just be like. So it's like, I feel it's, I don't want to say disrespectful, but I feel it's insensitive for trans women to go into women's sports and to kind of be like, you know what I mean?
It's like taking it's a loophole.
It's like you acting like a man, though, dude. Like you acting like a man, because that's what men do. You know what I'm saying? That's what men do. That's called entitled. That's entitled. That you being entitled. You're being really entitled to think to do that. You know, because it's not about you. Like, if you a woman and if you know what that feel like, then you need to be able to take a back seat. You know, because you, bottom line, have an advantage. I don't give a shit if it's because you're longer, because your arms are longer and your legs are longer. If you swimming, that length makes a damn difference.
It does. It's scientific.
Right.
Science. Yeah. It's a reason. It's a reason we was born when we were born.
Yeah, you can't be my sister if you can't, you know what I'm saying? If you can't be my sis, like, if you can't hold me down, if you can't, you know what I mean, then you ain't part of the sisters. The sisterhood, you ain't invited to the damn sisterhood, period. But you gotta respect it.
Yeah, respect the code.
You gotta respect
the woman code.
You know what I'm saying? Do something else. or go play with the men and whoop them. Because that's really what we want to see as women. We want to see your ass go play with the men and whoop them. Because you can.
Yeah, and you can represent. You can represent. Yeah, right. That's true. That's real.
That's what we want to see. Don't come beat us. Damn. That's a real man way to behave, you know?
Hey, I feel it. That's a different approach. But this was nice.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, cuz.
Absolutely. Again, I thank you because you came with a different angle. I probably wasn't even looking at. And this was a great discussion.
So who's the GOAT?
Muhammad Ali. Well, I'm gonna give you my top three.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, and Michael Jordan.
What? You ain't even fucking include Serena after a damn hour?
No.
I didn't do my job. I wasn't.
No, you still. Hey,
Michael Jordan.
She's in my top 10. She's my top 10.
Jordan over Serena?
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, hey, we can have a part 2 to this. Yeah, because she ain't even she's not even in the top 5 for me. Got Jim Brown, got Brian. Hell, we ain't even talk about Tom Brady.
Okay, I'll take it.
And he's a Cleveland Brown. A lot of people don't really know that, you know. Played so career.
I don't think anybody cares.
The Browns do. Damn it, I do too. Hey, but thank you all for tuning in. We will have this again. Family business, and this was the Serena Queen of Kings discussion. But thank you for tuning in, and it's been a pleasure. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Manalytics as usual.